distinct and separate to, your court action for your premises and your tenancy. Okay. So they're two separate beings.
How often do you kick people out for no reason?
Well, we're not kicking you out for no reason. We've made a commercial decision to not continue your tenancy.
Yeah, but there's no reason. Section 64 means no reason.
No, it means that the grounds that you've been given that termination notice are not put before the court as a matter of dispute. What? So we're not saying that you have done something or you haven't done something. We're not asking the courts to make a judgment or to look at evidence on that. We're simply saying that you are a tenant, we're a landlord, we no longer want to have a commercial contract with you, and we are finishing that commercial contract.
It's not a commercial contract. It's government housing.
It's social housing, you're correct, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we're a landlord, and we can make commercial decisions, and that's what this is.
Well, it's not a commercial decision. It's not a commercial decision because it's government housing. You don't make money from it.
I mean, to a certain extent, that it just isn't relevant, because all we're talking about is...
But it is relevant because you just brought it up.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chad, I must go, Mr. McLeod.
Okay, can you just tell me how much I owe in rent? Just tell me how much I owe in rent, please.
Well, look, I can't do that on the telephone because I can't, this telephone number that I've got isn't a number that we already had. And so whilst I'm obviously more than willing to have a conversation with you, I wouldn't want to give out sensitive information like that because I've got no way of knowing that you really are you.
You've just discussed all these court matters with me, but you cannot tell me if I owe any money on rent. You've just discussed all these personal matters with me, right? But you can't tell me if I owe any money in rent.
Yeah. But I've been very careful to only discuss the things with you that you've already brought up, so you knew what your court date was, you knew that it was a Section 64, one thing that I haven't actually confirmed to you anything else, and I won't do that. Because, the information that we
You know that I'm me. You know that I'm me, right? And you haven't been very careful.
If you'd like to send me an email and make that request, and it's the email that matches the email that we've got here, I'd be more than happy to put a statement of accounts onto an email and send that back to you.
But I've been given it over the phone before many times.
I mean, I can only comment on what I'm offering you to do today.
Okay, I'll send it right this second. Are you able to send it back to me right this second?
Not right this second, but certainly. Karen Bell, Regional Recovery, can I help you?
Yeah, hi, Karen. It's Travis McLeod. How are you going?
I'm very well, thank you, Ms. McLeod. How can I help?
What happened at court on Friday?
So on court on Friday, your tenancy was terminated by the court, and what they call a forthwith order was given, and that means that as of Friday you have no tenancy for the premises. And so we, because the vacant possession wasn't delivered, obviously you weren't at court or your lawyer didn't come to court.
Hang on a minute. Why did you tell me the wrong time that court was on, and then why, when I rang you at 10 to 11, you told me that that they'll just call you as soon as my lawyer will arrive, when court had already been done 10 minutes earlier, which was at.
Mr. Travis, if court's in session, which it was until 12:30. Had somebody who had not appeared attended, or your lawyer, they would have recalled the matter.
My lawyer did attend. My lawyer attended.
Well, certainly the name that you gave me is not a registered lawyer. I did look it up on the practitioners board, and there is no practitioner of that name.
My lawyer attended. My lawyer attended. It doesn't matter what name.
Well, he didn't look into the registrar.
It doesn't. What name? What name do you think I gave you?
Well, what name did you give me?
Well, you tell me. I mean, I've got it all recorded, but you tell me.
Well, I'm not prepared to do that, Mr. McLeod. The fact is that the registry have not told me at all, and I did clarify with them when I lodged what we call the property seizure and delivery order, which is the order for bailiff. I did clarify with them, and they say that nobody attended during the period of time that the court was in session, and the court was in session from 10 until 12:30.
Okay.
So
Can you tell me
nobody
what time this
attended.
decision was made?
No, I can't. I don't know the exact time, I'm afraid.
Had it already been made when we had the conversation at 10 to 11?
But the fact is that while court's in session, had you or your lawyer turned up, the matter would have been recalled.
Yeah, I know, but had
the
it already? His name was
ratified.
Gary Rogers. His name's Gary
You're
Rogers.
misunderstanding the difference between appearing and ratifying, and the decisions don't get ratified until court is no longer in session.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen until after 12:30.
Okay. His name was Gary Rogers. So, can you confirm that you done a search for a Gary Rogers and there was
There's no Gary Rogers in Western Australia.
There's no Gary Rogers.
Licensed as a practicing lawyer in Western Australia.
Yeah, but could you tell me what that has to do with anything? What time did you look that up at?
It doesn't have anything to do with anything, Mr. Chancellor. I'm thinking we're sort of losing. We need to keep the issues quite narrow here, and that is that we do
that's for
have
your
a court
convenience.
order.
I didn't get my chance to have my day in court. I've been lied to. I've been scammed. I've had the whole department. I've had you and the rest of your colleagues all corrupt against me for no reason at all. I didn't get to have my day in court because you lied to me.
Sorry, but
you told me that court was at 11.
Conversation with you.
You told me court was at 11. The decision was made at 10:40.
You must let me finish. Mr. Khan, you must let me finish. The fact of the matter is that Housing Authority have got a valid court order. We have instructed a bailiff, and that when the bailiff confirms their availability, which will be this week, we will proceed to enforce that court order and we will reclaim the property.
Yeah,
and
but you lied
really
to me.
as simple as that.
You lied to me about the court time. I didn't even.
I didn't lie to you.
What time was this decision made? Was it made at 10:40, like Gary Rogers says?
I don't know who Gary Rogers is.
Yeah,
I do know that he's not a registered or a practicing lawyer in Western Australia.
Well, it doesn't matter whether he's interstate, does it? He's allowed to be an interstate lawyer.
No, that's not how it works at all.
Yeah, it is.
But nevertheless,
Are you telling me?
I'm not going to debate whether or not a lawyer could or could not have attended. The fact of the matter is that there was no lawyer in attendance. We did get a court order. The court order is valid, and we will be enforcing the court order.
There was my lawyer in attendance, but you lied to me about the time.
No, I didn't lie to you about the time at all, Mr. McLeod.
What time did you tell me?
The court order is valid. The court order will be enforced. And should vacant possession of the premises, the keys not being delivered to
you're telling me what's going to happen, but I'm telling you that you're a liar. I'm telling you you're a liar.
Okay, well, Mr. McLeod, I'm not going to be abused on the phone.
I'm not abusing you.
And so
I'm just saying, why did you lie to me?
No, Mr. McLeod, I didn't lie to you.
You did. You told me that.
At any stage.
You told me when I rang you at 10 to 11 that when my lawyer arrives that they would contact you and it'd be able to be heard in court. But it had already been heard at 10:40.
No, I didn't say that. What I said was, should your lawyer attend, the courthouse would contact me.
Yeah.
Your lawyer did not make himself known to the registry. Your lawyer did not appear at court, and therefore the court did not contact me. So I didn't tell you a lie at all. I told you exactly the truth, which was that should your lawyer attend, the registry would contact me.
Was there a decision made at 10:40?
It doesn't make any difference what
I'm
time
asking you, can you
made.
please answer?
What I told you was exactly the truth, which was should your lawyer have attended, I would have been contacted. No lawyer attended and made themselves known to a registry. So if you've instructed a lawyer and your expectation is that your lawyer was there, then I would really have a very significant and serious conversation with him, because I can guarantee you
Did you try to ring him?
The registry were not aware of any lawyer. I was not aware of any lawyer.
Did you try to ring him?
Waiting room.
Did you try to ring him? I gave you his number.
It's not my duty.
Well, why did you take his number then?
Is or is not in attendance.
But it was your duty to check that he exists or not in WA, whether that's not relevant or not. But it's not your duty to ring him.
It's not my duty. It's your duty
Well,
to
I
have
did.
your matter heard.
But you lied to me about the time.
No, I didn't lie to you about the time, Mr. McLeod.
Can an interstate lawyer represent me or not? Can an interstate lawyer represent me?
By the Form 12.
Please tell me,
Sorry?
can an interstate lawyer represent me?
Look, Mr. McLeod, if you want legal advice, you must get legal advice.
I know that they can. I'm just asking you. You just told me that he's not
Mr.
registered
McLeod,
in
I'm not your
WA.
lawyer. I don't represent your interests. I represent the interests
I know.
of the Housing
You
Authority.
definitely don't represent
And
my
therefore,
interests.
I am not
You're
going to give you
dodging the
advice.
questions. Why did you do
No,
a
I'm not going to
WA
give you
check
any
when you
advice,
should have
Mr.
done an
McLeod.
Australia check?
Mr. McLeod, unless it's directly related to your housing tenancy, I'm
It
not
is.
going to give you advice.
It's directly
And if you want
related.
to know whether a lawyer from a different state can represent your interests, you need to contact that lawyer and you need to ask that lawyer to give you confirmation. I'm not going to tell you
I have.
about the practicing rights of somebody else.
Well, then why did you not ring him instead of ringing and doing a check whether it exists in
I have
WA?
no duty or obligation to phone a lawyer and ask him whether or not he will or will not be in
Well,
attendance.
why did you say you would and take his number?
I didn't say I would. I
You
did
did.
take his number, but I did not say I would.
Well,
No,
why
I
did you
didn't.
take his number then? That leads me to a false
Because it's
impression.
the right thing to do. And if the number was there, and should there be need for it, I let it record it.
It was a polite thing to do. What, lead me into false expectation?
There is no false expectation, Mr. McLeod. Your lawyer wasn't there.
There was.
He wasn't there at 10 o'clock, he wasn't there at 11 o'clock, and he wasn't there at 12 o'clock.
He was there
He wasn't there during any of the time that the court was in session.
He was there.
Now, either the court is completely mistaken, I'm completely mistaken, the orderlies are completely mistaken, or your lawyer is giving you incorrect information.
No, that's not true at all. And he's a registered lawyer, and you gave me the impression that you'd ring him. You didn't. You gave me a false time for court, and there's so many holes in this case. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know.
Well, Mr. McLeod, you obviously have the relevant bodies, that you can complain to. But the court order is valid. It will be enforced.
What relevant?
The house will be reclaimed.
What relevant bodies are they that I can complain to?
I've already given you that advice previously by email. You've made allegations of racial discrimination. You've been given the Equal Opportunity Commission. You've made allegations about the Housing Authority. You've been given the Ombudsman. You have had all the relevant organisations.
Yeah.
And if they're not prepared to take forward your complaint, then I'm afraid there's nothing that I can do.
Oh, what are you talking about? There's nothing you can do. You've done everything to try and stitch me up for not doing anything wrong except turning a shed into a beautifully landscaped house, looking after my young children there, and being.
Mr. McLeod, I'm going to bring the conversation to a close because we're going round in circles here. The only thing I can advise you is that the Housing Authority has a valid court order. The Housing Authority will seek to rely on that court order and will enforce it. As vacant possession has not been given by yourself or the occupants, a bailiff has been instructed. When the bailiff is available, we will attend your premises and we will reclaim the property. And that's all the advice and the guidance I can give you. So I need to bring the telephone call to a conversation.
Are you a lawyer?
To a close. I need to bring the conversation to a close because we're not really doing anything, positive.
You're very because you're very negative and not a very nice person. So, thank you very much for your
All right, Mr. Trout.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye bye.
Now, so what happens with my kids after this date? They get kicked out on the streets, you go to bed at night, you sleep. What happens to my kids?
Well, I certainly encourage your partner to make contact with the Housing Authority as soon as possible in order that we could
She
discuss that
has,
with her.
and they lied.
Okay. Mr. Clyde, we're sort of muddying up two issues, really. One is to do with yourself and your court case.
No, it's all about my kids. It's all about my kids. But the other issues are related to my kids. So I've got to deal with everything around it. All I care about is my kids having a roof over their head. That's the only thing I care about. But all these matters are related to it in some way. So I've got to deal with all them as well to try and make sure that my kids have got a roof over their head, which is something that the Housing Authority wants to take away from them.
Well, as I say, I would certainly encourage your partner to make contact with the Housing Authority and we can discuss what options are available to her.
She has.
But that is distinct and separate to, your court action for your premises and your tenancy.
Okay.
So they're two separate beings.
How often how often do you kick people out for no reason?
Well, we're not kicking you out for no reason. We've made a commercial decision to not continue your tenancy.
Yeah, but there's no reason. Section 64 means no reason.
The Housing Authority being able to make an application to court. And at court, we would say, we have a residential tenancy agreement. We gave the correct notice. We gave the notice on this day. We asked him to move out on this day, and he hasn't moved out. Mm-hmm. The court then, under Section 64, would look at it, make sure there's a tenancy agreement, make sure the notice has been given correctly, make sure that the vacate date was 60 days further on, and would say, are you still in residence? You would say yes. That would be that. The only thing the court can do is look at the day that we've asked you to move out and work out whether or not it's agreeable to both parties to extend that period of time. Housing Authority would say no. They would say that we've already given you 60 days notice and therefore you don't need further time to move out. You would say, yes, I do. I have two small young children and therefore I need to make further arrangements. There is some discretion with the court as to what time frame they would give you to move out within 30 days. But that's it. With a Section 64 notice, there is no appeal against it if the notice has been given correctly. And there's no internal appeal with the Housing Authority. So I'm not sure.
So why would the Housing Authority give such an arbitrary ruling?
A little bit flawed.
Well, why would the Housing Authority make such an arbitrary ruling? And why would they? Why would the Housing Authority make such an arbitrary ruling? And why would they be keen to see two kids out on the street? And why would they send out a letter saying that sign this to say that you've knocked back a different address house that you've been offered?
Well, look, as I say, I don't deal in day-to-day tenancy matters. I don't deal with the regulation of tenancies. I don't deal with offering tenancies. I don't deal with anything like that. All I do is represent the Housing Authority at court. Mm-hmm. So the only things I can comment on, the information that you've given me, such as it is, and I can inform you about what the legislation is, and I can inform you how the Housing Authority would go about presenting this matter at court, and that's all I can do. So I can't discuss anything about the history of your tenancy. I can't discuss why those things have taken place. What I can say to you is if you've been given that notice, then the Housing Authority will take further action if you choose not to vacate, and that the courts and the internal appeal that you speak about is not applicable in this situation. But ultimately the decision is yours, and should you not vacate on that date, the Housing Authority, as you rightly have said, won't be banging on your door and forcing entry. But that doesn't mean to say that the process will stop there. Yeah. So I can only give you, a limited overview, which is